Hello once again, YouTube. Major Tom 2417 here with episode 10 of EpicStravaganza, and in this latest installment, it's time to take a look at that oh-so-popular spin-off, maybe sequel to Unreal. I am, of course, referring to Unreal Tournament, in this case the Game of the Year edition, developed as with Unreal by Digital Extremes, and published as with Unreal by Epic Mega Games, shorn of the Mega as of that point forward, and just going by Epic Games. And the Unreal Tournament series was, in my opinion, the last hurrah for the old-school Epic of the 1990s and the 2000s. This was before Gears of War, and before that one Battle Royale game that shall henceforth and forever remain nameless. Where was I? Oh, right! Unreal Tournament didn't invent the deathmatch, but it did codify and clarify many of the aspects of the deathmatch that esports players today know by heart. And for a game that started off as an expansion to the original Unreal, before spinning off into its own sub-series, that's quite an accomplishment. And yes, this one is freeware. Unfortunately, it's been delisted from the usual digital storefronts. But if you got it before the unlisting, congratulations! You still have access to it. For a game that's all about the art of the deathmatch, Unreal Tournament does in fact have a story, with a few shades of One Must Fall 2097's tournament mode. The New Earth government decided in the year 2291 to legalize no-holds-barred fighting, thinking it would be a great way to keep the deep space miners from violent revolt. Liandry Mining Corporation thus threw together leagues and exhibitions that were more than a bit reminiscent of the old Roman gladiatorial bouts, and the popularity grew exponentially in relation to their brutality. Once the Liandry Corpos figured out that the public matches drew the most scratch, they formed a professional league with the most violent and talented fighters they could pull from known space. That grand tournament was 50 years prior to the start of Deathmatch in 2341. Profits from the tournaments make the winnings of any tournament in One Must Fall 2097 look like pocket change. And your character has been selected by the Liandry Corpos to take part in the Pro League. No pressure, right? The teams are many, like the Necris, later revealed to consist of the Undead, or the Red Claw and Iron Skull, made up of Scarge hybrids, one of the few connections this game has to the original Unreal. There's the Thunder Crash, made up of the best athletes and soldiers of their generation. The Reavers, former New Earth government ops, teaming up with criminals wanted by the New Earth government. The Dark Phalanx, made up of ex-military and security specialists, as well as veterans of the Human Scars Wars. And those are just the teams. Solo play has a bunch of colorful characters on its own, all leading up to the current Grand Champion, Zan Krieger. Your goal in single player is to reach Zan and take his place at the top of the heap, to become the new champion. Again, no pressure, right? Match types range from the standard deathmatch and team deathmatch to domination. Basically, keep 3 points in the level under your team's control for the duration of the match. To capture the flag, and, as added in Game of the Year edition, Rocket Arena, where the winners stay on and the losers are banished to wherever the losers of these kinds of things get banished to. Mutators add weird and exciting new changes to the gameplay. For instance, if you prefer to run around dispatching your enemies with a two-handed sword, then perhaps the Chaos Unreal Tournament Mutator set will suit your purposes, because yes, it does contain a two-handed sword. Level design tends to range from industrial to exotic, with some levels having molten lead pools and pressure chambers in which you can trap your opponents, to alien worlds and temples, including one temple on the planet Na Pali, another connection to the original Unreal. In one particularly challenging level, your team has to advance up a beachhead of sorts towards a giant emplaced weapon in an attempt to destroy it, all while other emplaced weapons are firing upon them, and the enemy is, of course, trying to stop you from achieving your goal. And yes, it's based on a battle from World War II, because the Liandry Mining Corporation has no scruples whatsoever. And your character has been employed by these people. So yeah. And then there are the weapons. There's the Impact Hammer, or the Piston, which takes up your melee slot, and can wreck anyone you get close enough to, provided they don't wreck you first. The Enforcer is the tournament's answer to Unreal's Auto-Mag and can be dual-wielded. The Shock Rifle takes the place of the ASDM rifle from the original game, with similarly devastating results. The Ripper is a descendant of the Razorjack, if the game's manual is anything to go by, sending insanely sharp blades everywhere you aim it at once you fire. The rocket launcher, while nowhere near as overpowered as the 8-ball launcher from the original Unreal, which, fun fact, was featured on the original promotional art for Unreal Tournament because the designers hadn't come up with this game's rocket launcher yet, nevertheless has its uses, like being able to queue up and fire multiple rockets at once, or send a single rocket bouncing around like a grenade towards its target. While my personal favorite of the bunch, the Flak Cannon, is closer in function to a shotgun than the shock rifle that takes up the usual space a shotgun tends to take in the arsenal of this game. There's also the bizarre bio-rifle, which fires toxic sludge. I say it's weird, but it was evidently so popular that when Epic wanted to remove it from the 2004 installment of the series, the fan outcry was so great that they didn't take it out and might have actually put it back in. There's the Pulse Rifle, which fires either giant green globes of energy or a constant stream of green energy, like some kind of weaponized Ghostbusters proton pack. Then there's the Sniper Rifle, the function of which should be self-explanatory, and the Minigun, the function of which should also be self-explanatory, unlike the Redeemer, which can fire nukes. Yes, this game gives players a weapon that can fire nukes at their enemies, offering further proof that the Leandry Mining Corporation is absolutely, definitely, 100% totally run by people with absolutely no morals whatsoever. And for those who like a bit of old-school melee weaponry in the mix, in the vein of Doom, which pretty much originated the deathmatch as we know it today, Unreal Tournament does in fact have a chainsaw. As with Unreal, the music is excellent, with some songs contributed by none other than voice actress Lanny Minella, and Alexandra Brandon returns from Unreal to provide more epic tunage. Sound design is particularly great in this installment in the Unreal Tournament series, with the Flak Cannon taking my prize for the best sounding weapon in the game. Bot player voices tend to get repetitive after a while, but their witty repartee tends to be much, much tamer than the kind of things you'd hear yelled over headsets playing against actual human opponents. And then there's the announcer for these matches, who went uncredited until Unreal Tournament 2004, in which that incredible and memorable voice was revealed to be none other than veteran voice actor Fred Tatasciore. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. His bombastic voice acting really lends a sense of spectacle to these things, giving it almost a pro wrestling kind of feel. As for personal experience with this game, I first saw it on the computer of a cousin of mine over at their house while I was visiting. They had a trackball, which I found to be the optimal method for aiming and such. At least I thought so at the time. I played it for a bit, getting used to the controls, although the next time I would play it would be on my own computer without a trackball, and found it to be quite the fascinating experience. I left that day wondering if I'd ever be able to play it again. Lo and behold, I would. After, for the anniversary of the game's release one year, GOG had it up for free. Not being one to pass up such a great deal, I grabbed it then and there. I played through single-player mode, got all the way to Zan Krieger, and proceeded to beat Zan Krieger, thus becoming the Grand Champion in single-player mode. I will admit, I have no experience playing this online, and I have no problem keeping it that way, because the last time I played something online was one of the WWE 2K games before 2K19, and those were certainly days. Obviously, with this title not being a DOS game, there is no Ancient DOS Games video from Chris Azik, aka Gemini, available for those who want more info about it. But Lazy Game Reviews, LGR, has put up a video about Unreal Tournament on his own channel. I think. I'm pretty sure he has. And who knows, maybe Civi11 will do a video on this in the near or distant future, once he's finished playing all the games that fly down the boom chute tube at him. And for those wondering where you can get this and the original Unreal these days, Epic made a very nice deal with a site called OldUnreal, in which you can get an ISO-based install of the game. You don't get a full installer that has all the files in it. The game files are hosted on the site. You have to be connected up to the internet for the install to work. It's kind of like how the original Command & Conquer and Red Alert and Tiberian Sun are all available for free from another website these days. Online-based installer. Very similar setup to that. But, as previously mentioned, if you have Unreal and Unreal Tournament in your digital storefront libraries of choice from getting it back in the day, they will still be there for you to download whenever you feel like it. So that is another option to get this if you already have it in your digital storefront library of choice. Don't know why I didn't mention OldUnreal in the video for Unreal, but I'm mentioning it in the video for this. And I think that wraps up everything I want to say and need to say about Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. So, yeah. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so very much for liking, watching, commenting, and subscribing. There are only 2 installments left in this EpicStravaganza series. I hope you've been enjoying the 10 installments uploaded thus far, this video included, and everything else I've been uploading to the channel, and I hope you continue to enjoy the remaining 2 installments of EpicStravaganza and everything else I upload to this channel in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. This is Major Tom 2417, signing out.